I'm gonna teach you how to scale your agency in 2025, and you know I know what I'm talking about because I have a microphone here. That's how you know I'm serious. Let me get that out of the way. It's not even on. It's not even plugged in. My name's Gavin. I run an email and SMS marketing agency, and I do around about 50 to 80K a month in revenue USD. Take everything I'm saying under that umbrella. So I'm not really gonna teach you how to get to like 200, 500, because I'm not there myself, but I am gonna teach you some of the ways that I am trying to scale my email and SMS marketing agency. Now, I make these videos to document my own journey, share some tips. I have nothing to sell you in these, so honestly, just take them as like purely educational content and hopefully a little bit of entertainment. I think I'm a pretty funny dude. Now, I'm gonna teach you the ways that I'm scaling my agency. If you like this video, subscribe, validate my existence, all that good stuff. Number one, if you want to scale in 2025 for your agency, you need to be taking some sort of a okay? Some sort of Zyn, some sort of performance enhancing drug to compete, because the reality is everyone else in the tech space is ripping Adderall, modafinil, all sorts of stuff, and you need to at least kind of compete in some way. So taking Zyns and nicotine are gonna help you get there. Number two, in all seriousness, you need to be able to productize your service. So with the agency space, what we're doing is we are selling a service, right? And when we first start, we're typically implementing and executing the service ourselves. For example, I do email marketing. When I first started, I was scripting, building, sending the campaigns, right? That helped me get to a certain point. For most of us in the agency space, you need to start removing yourself from the service delivery part of your business at around about the 20K a month mark. After that 20K a month part, you're gonna have too many clients and too much work to be able to fulfill it all yourself. So what that means is you need to develop systems and processes that you can put people into to then do the work themselves, thus removing yourself from the delivery part. So what I did when I was kind of, at that 20K mark, I started building out incredibly in-depth SOPs, systems and processes whereby anybody else could drop in who knows how to do email marketing and could follow those systems and processes to the T and actually do it in a way that I would do it. So I used Asana and I mapped out every single type of service that we did. To be able to scale, you need to have a productized service, meaning you can do it for multiple people at the same time in a repeatable fashion. So for me and my service, we do email marketing. There's the flow builds and the campaigns. For the most part, what we do, there are customizations and elements of customization for each of our clients, but the overarching system and the process is pretty much the same. We have the flow build and we have the campaigns. Now, obviously there's customizations in those flows, there's customizations in those campaigns, but the overall approach is repeatable. So I was able to build SOPs around a repeatable process. Step one, we get on a call with the client. Step two, we outline the flows. Step three, we script, we design, we build. And I mapped out every single one of those systems and processes in Asana. You can use any tool, Monday, ClickUp. I personally like Asana. And what that allowed me to do is create essentially instructions. Once I'd mapped everything out, I then moved on to hiring people. This is where you need to start scaling, or if you want to scale, you need to get other people in your business. And what you'll find is your profit margin will start shrinking as you scale, but your total profit will start increasing. For example, I would much rather make 30% profit on 100,000 than 50% profit on, say, 20,000. You see what I mean? My margins get thinner because I'm spending more money on people, but my total profit goes up. How I started tackling which tasks I wanted to hire for and which ones I wanted to do was I found the tasks that were the most tedious, that required the lowest skill, but that took the most time. Okay? So as an email marketer, my role comprised of copywriting, building emails, designing emails, setting the strategy, and getting on client calls. Out of those 5 things, when it comes to delivering the service, designing the emails took the most time, as well as building the emails. So those were the first things that I hired for. I hired a designer and a builder, and that instantly freed up a bunch of my time. And I was able to train my designer and my builder using my SOPs that I'd previously established. So I chucked those people into these Asana tasks, they were able to follow instructions, and then all of a sudden, I'd got, at $20,000 a month in revenue, I'd got about 10 to 15 hours of my time back. I was able to allocate that time to producing YouTube content, marketing, right? And so I was able to start marketing myself and getting more clients. And then that 10 to 15 hours reduced again. right? Because I no longer had 10 to 15 hours because we had more clients. And then what I did, I was like, all right, well, I've outsourced my designing, I've outsourced my building, I have more capital in the bank, so now I need to hire somebody else to fill a slightly more complex role. So then I hired a project manager, which cost more, so my profit margin shrank, but it freed up more time. So I found it's a more complex role. It requires client communications, so someone's English language skills have to be up to a certain level. They have to understand numbers, statistics, and that kind of stuff. So now I was able to spend more time on marketing. And you'll notice here, I'm gradually removing myself from the service delivery part because I'm no longer doing client communications. I'm no longer setting the strategy because the project manager is there. So now you can see my role to scale gradually transitions from executor and operator to marketer. And so what you'll see is as you grow, you gradually want to take yourself, like how I use my hands here, that's how you know I'm for real, right? You gradually want to take yourself out of the service delivery role and gradually transition into the marketing role. Now my role, 80% of my time is probably spent on marketing, putting out YouTube videos, getting on sales calls and closing, when the service delivery part is largely done by my team. And that's how you scale. I think, personally, you can do that up into about 100K. At about 100K, you'll need to remove yourself from, say, some of the sales processes because you have so much deal flow coming in. Once again, the most I've done, I think, is like 85K a month, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But you see what I mean? Like, what's happened is I have my team that's able to do the fulfillment stuff, which frees up my time for more lead generation tasks. Okay? I'm able to generate more leads, more business with my time instead of servicing our existing clients. But I had to service the existing clients at the start to get the cash flow into my business to then hire people. So I have that cash flow, I have that capital, and I can allocate that capital to hire people to fulfill the roles that I don't really want to do, nor is it worth my time. And then I can transition into the sales and marketing role. At about 100K a month, I think what you need to do is you need to start going solely focusing on systems and processes, not delivering the work, and focusing on sales and marketing. You want to build your systems so they can be more predictable, more reliable, and that you can essentially drop anyone into the system and process that you have as a business, and it can run without you having to do anything. That's how I'm trying to run my business right now and get that 100K revenue mark essentially consistently. As you grow, I think what happens is you eventually fully remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and you solely focus on sales and marketing. And then as you get past 100K, then you start taking yourself out of the sales calls. Because at about 100K, you probably have consistent leads coming in and calls coming in, and you wanna then outsource that to somebody who can close for you. And that's how you start developing a system that allows you to scale. You're just gradually changing your role in the business. But also, to scale, you need consistent leads coming in. So not only do you need a business whereby you don't have to be in the delivery, you also need a business that has consistent leads and traffic coming in. How I have done that for my business is a few ways. I've made a video on all the leads that we get. Check out the channel if you want to see those. I think the video title is like all the ways that I get leads for my business or something like that. Something generic, whatever. You get the idea, right? But how I generate leads, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Upwork, SEO, referrals, and my newsletter. We have all of those leads. Note, I didn't say paid ads. I have yet to be able to crack paid ads, and I don't actually think you need to do paid ads up until you're about like 100K a month. You need to scale past that. We're gonna start doing cold email shortly as well. But we have the consistent leads coming from all those places whereby they come in, we have traffic, we can convert them, put them into our system, take the profit, and then recycle it back into producing content, back into dialing in our SEO, writing newsletters, so on and so forth. That's how I'm trying to scale my agency. So to reiterate, step number 1, abuse any sort of substance. Step number 2 is build a system and a process that can be followed by other people. Step number 3 is hire people to fill those roles. Then step number 4 is start allocating more of your time to sales and marketing, generating business. And then step number 5 is start marketing more, right? So start putting out content, investing in tools and strategies that are gonna get traffic into your business. This is what I have done. and it has worked well for me. It hasn't gotten me to that 100K mark, but I do think we're gonna get there. We got pretty close already. My goal is to get there by the end of this year. We'll see. Black Friday is coming up at the time of recording, so hopefully we'll have a bunch of new clients coming in from there. If you like this video, fantastic. I really just make these to have fun, document my journey, give me something to do, and eventually, I don't know, build a personal brand around this. We'll see. But thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. Any questions, chuck them in the comment section. I respond to everything. If you have any questions about email marketing, check out my other YouTube channel where I talk about that all the time. Subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks for watching. I really don't have anything to pitch you. I wish I did. I wish I was making money off of this, but I'm not. We'll see you in the next one.